Hi everyone, this is Chris from Felpgrau Productions, and I have something a little bit different here for you today. What you might see in front of you is some figures that look familiar if you've watched my videos from back in fall of 2020. These are the Little Wars TV Fall Army Painting Competition, Dark Ages, Vikings or Anglo-Saxons, and they're in 15 millimeter. And if you know anything about me, you know that I'm kind of obsessed with 10 millimeter, working on my Lord of the Rings right now. And you can see the scale difference between 10 and 15 millimeter, but also that I do skirmish in 10 millimeter. I'm working on a little skirmish band here. We've got a little Saruman and a work in progress Theoden. But I've been thinking about what I want to do with these 15 millimeter figures, and I came across an idea, and I want to try to put this out to everybody that I'm going to be doing a charity auction. I don't exactly have a massive 15 millimeter collection, but I think that in the condition and the fact that they are fully painted, these could raise some money for a good cause. Now, I spoke with a member of the community who currently is living in Ukraine, and he pointed me towards a charity, the United Nations World Food Program, that deals with food insecurity across the world, including in Ukraine. So 100% of the proceeds of the two auctions that I'm going to show you right now are going to be going towards the UN World Food Program. And that money goes straight through eBay, does not pass into my hands, so it is 100% safe. And more information about that in the links below. So what you have in front of you here is one of the two auctions that should be live as soon as you see this video, which is on October 6th and will be going on for the next 7 days. So in front of you here, this is a fully painted 15 millimeter Viking or Anglo-Saxon army. About 75% of the models are metal, and about 25% of them I 3D printed myself. It is about, I believe, 104 figures, but I might be off by one there, plus or minus. So in front of you, we've got some command figures. Some of my personal favorites include, of course, Dude blowing a horn, and his friend, Angry Thor Viking Priest. After them, we have got a variety of archers here. Again, some of them 3D printed, like this guy right here. He's actually a German from the March to Hell line, but he looks perfectly good as a Dark Ages figure. And then also some metal figures here from a variety of ranges. I picked these up on eBay, so I'm not 100% sure where they're from. Then we've got some skirmishers with javelins. Most of these 3D printed, although one of them right here is metal. Then my personal favorites are, we have the shield maidens. These are all 3D printed figures, but it gives you a little bit of variety. The hornblower, woman with the staff, and then I love the braid on this figure along with her cloak. These are also, by the way, obviously all based and also all magnetized and varnished. So these are pretty much as good to go the second you put them down on the table. Now, any Viking force is not going to be complete without some berserkers, some metal berserkers, and some resin berserkers. This guy, he's more like 18 millimeter scale, so you could just say that he's a really big, hefty guy. Then the heart of the army is, we've got about 20 fully armored warriors and 21 lightly armored warriors. So the fully armored warriors, variety of weapons, axes, spears, swords, but they are all mailed and helmeted, and most of them have shields. And then the lightly armored warriors have a variety of cloth and perhaps leather outfits. Focusing on small figures is always difficult here. A lot of axes here, also spears, and a couple of swords. And then although mounted warfare was not really a big thing with the Vikings or the Anglo-Saxons, we do have some mounted figures over here that would make for good, an excellent leader here, and a bit of a standard bearer to go along with him. I have one Norman who snuck in here, so if you want to have a little Norman who's in exile or something like that, you've got him. And some more heavily armored ones, as well as some 3D printed lightly armored cavalry skirmishes, although one of these guys does have mail. The rest of these are a little more lightly armored. So if you were thinking about maybe playing Raven Feast, you could have easily two armies right off the bat right here in 15 millimeter scale, and you just need to get yourself your hands on some terrain. So this is going to be going up. It's going to be a $10 starting bid and $10 in shipping. anywhere in the United States and also internationally through the eBay international shipping program. I don't know what the shipping is for international, but I am located in the US. Now, the second auction you may have seen up here in the corner is going to be a World War II combo US and German. Now, these are figures from the Hit the Beach starter set from Flames of War. And so these are the American paratroopers. I've got 3 bases of regular infantry, so a good squad there. I've got 3 bases with the light machine guns that the paratroopers went in with, not the BARs, I think it was the 1919. 1 light mortar, and then 1 command base. Got to have a guy with a map, and then 1 bazooka team. So you've got a good platoon here for maybe playing something like 15mm bolt action or chain of command. Now, also fully painted on the American side, we have some M3 Lees that are painted, and the turrets are rotate and are magnetized. So these M3 Lees. In addition to the Americans, we also have these Germans. Excuse me, I'm running out of room. We've got also from the Hit the Beach the Germans, and these are about 2 platoons worth. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different bases with MG42s. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bases of infantry with 4 figures each. 4 bases with Panzerfausts that could also be commands. Got 2 of them that have Panzerfausts and officers here. 2 bases with Panzer Schrecks. And then finally 2 anti-tank guns with crews and a little bit of light scenery on them, which could be good for scenarios or for objectives. Now, these are all the painted figures, but I am also including in the World War II charity auction some partially or unpainted figures. So for the unpainted figures, I have 2 German Panzer IVs. Do not ask me what version these are. I do not know, because I'm just not good like that. 2 Panzer IIIs, so more of an early war setup, although the figures here were painted more in a late war. You can see the Zelt bombs on that guy. So these are more like late war. These are maybe a little more early to mid-war, although in the late war, of course, they were also trying to put anything they had out there. For the Americans, these are partially painted. So the hulls are pretty much done, but the accessories and the tracks are not really all that done. So we've got a Sherman with either the 75 or the 76mm, and again, magnetized. So you can easily switch them out. And I believe when I built this, this is a hull that commonly had either of these turrets. Then we have, I'm going to say an M5 Stuart. If it's an M3 Stuart, I apologize. Also magnetized, but just the 1 turret. And then we have either an M10 or an M18 tank destroyer. I don't know which turret goes with which, but again, the hull fully painted. It's just the tracks and some of the accessories that are not really completed. And then along with this, because you've got a lot of space here to put guys, and then you've also got the open hatches on the Sherman, I also have the primed but unpainted tank crew and tank commanders. So all in all, the World War II is 104 infantry figures, the 2 anti-tank guns with the crew, 2 painted tanks, and 7 partially or unpainted tanks. And there's going to be close-up photos of all of the figures, as well as more details down if you follow the links to eBay. Again, this is going to all money to the World Food Program by the United Nations. You can look at eBay. It'll tell you how all of the money will go straight to them. It doesn't go through me at all. And I really hope that we can use this opportunity of our little hobby to raise some money for a good cause. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And I hope everyone has a great season.